Hi, so today I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions about the Haakaa breast pump. So first question is, can you use it in the shower? I thought this was a good one. Okay, so can you use the Haakaa in the shower? I'm game. I went ahead and gave it a try. So it suctions well, of course, and so you don't need to have anything like a bra on or anything in order to keep it on your body. I kept it on. It did collect some milk, and then afterwards, I couldn't tell if the skin underneath was wet or not. So I tried to kind of dry off, and then when I took it off, maybe my hands were still a little damp, but it seemed like the skin underneath underneath where the Haakaa had been was a little bit damp. So I would not use it personally because I wouldn't want to risk getting water in and like diluting the breast milk. So that's my answer to whether the Haakaa can be used in the shower. Next question. Can you lay down and use the Haakaa while you're laying down? Maybe you're taking a nap. So I gave this a try, and I'm a side sleeper, and so when I started kind of lay down and move my arms, in front of myself, it started to unsuction. So I would say no, it does not work. For me, at least, it did not work to use the Haakaa while laying down. Next question, how often should you sterilize your Haakaa? Okay. So the CDC has a guideline for sterilizing bottles and pumping parts if your child is premature, if they have other health problems, or if they're less than 2 months old. They recommend you sterilize every 24 hours, so do it every day. If your child is older or has other things, then you may not have to sterilize as often, and you should ask your pediatrician. I just sterilize my stuff every day. I mean, my child is 8 months old and he's never had any problems, but I don't want to play around with bacteria. And for me, it's pretty easy, right? I just throw it in the sterilizer and then it's good to go the next morning. So I sterilize mine every day. Next question. Can you get rid of weird smells on your Haakaa? So, silicone, in my experience, really does start to, I think all plastics start to smell, but silicone for me, for some reason, starts to smell sooner. It really does absorb smells. And so if you're putting your Haakaa, especially if you're storing milk in it and putting it in the fridge, I think it will start to get kind of stinky. But even if you don't do that, it just starts to get smells over time. So what I do for all of my silicone parts, for my pumps and for my Haakaa, I put about 1 gallon of water in a clean bin, the bin I use to wash my parts in, and I put 1/2 cup of vinegar in there and let it soak for 5 to 10 minutes, and then I wash them as usual and sterilize. So the thing about vinegar is that you don't want to let it soak for too long, because it is an acid and it will start to degrade over time. But also, I mean, these parts are not going to last for 30 years, right? They're pumping parts. They're usually supposed to last for, like the breastfeeding span of 1 child. It's not really intended for this product to be something that's going to last forever and ever. So yes, it will start to degrade the plastic over time, but it's not going to cause a problem. It's not immediately going to ruin it. And so that's what I do in order to do that. So I do that, I don't know, every couple weeks. I go ahead and use the vinegar rinse to get rid of smells. Next question. When you're using the Haakaa, so if you're collecting just a little bit at a time, can you add that milk, like keep a bottle in your fridge and then add the warm milk to the bottle just over time, over the course of the day? This is not recommended by the CDC. So they do not recommend adding warm milk to cold milk. You're supposed to, everything be the same temperature. So warm to warm, or you put it in the fridge and then you let it come down to, be cold. So it'd take maybe an hour or 2, and then you add them together. So the idea again is to prevent bacterial growth. So you're trying not to constantly be, raising and lowering the temperature of the milk. You lower the temperature and then you leave it. This is the same is true for adding liquid milk to frozen milk. So you're not supposed to have a bag in the freezer and then be topping it off to add more. So buy several containers or several bottles so that you have ways to bring all the milk down to the same temperature before you add it together. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe for more information on breastfeeding, pumping, and building your freezer stash.